Hello class. Today we're going to be talking about systems of equations. Well, systems of equations can be written for many interesting problems. We've already looked at some of those in class. These are problems where there is more than one variable and more than one equation. To completely solve a system, you need as many equations as you have variables. Okay, for most of the problems that we're going to be looking at, you're going to have two variables and two equations, but you might see some with three variables, three equations, 4 and 4, 5 and 5, but as long as you have the same number of equations or more equations as you do variables, you should be all set. The most important part of writing systems of equations is reading the question. Okay, all the information you need is going to be in there. Make sure that the equations that you are writing make sense based on the problem. Okay, so make sure you're following some good reading strategies, looking for very important information as you're reading these problems. Let's take a look at an example. Let's look at the steps we're going to go through to set up these systems of equations. Well, the first step would be to read the problem. Make sure you underline important information. Okay? So we're going to underline important information as we're reading the problem. Then we want to define our variables. Okay? So we're going to set X means this and Y means that. Okay? We're going to be dealing with a lot of word problems. And in one case, X could be the speed of a boat in still water. And in another case, X could be the number of quarters that you have in a pile of coins. Okay? So make sure you define your variables so you understand what they mean. Next, we're going to want to write equations. Remember, we need to have as many independent equations as we do variables. So if we have two variables, say the number of quarters and the number of nickels in a collection of coins, or the speed of a boat in still water and the speed of the boat and the speed of the current, we'd also need at least two equations. So if we have two variables, we need two equations. If we have three variables, we need three equations, and so forth and so on. Next, we're going to check your units. Check your units at all times. Okay, and where this is probably going to catch someone is in the coin problems, which are very common for this type of this branch of math. So if I tell you that a pile of coins is worth $2.15, okay, that's probably going to be written 2.15, okay? Okay? But you're also going to write an equation that says that a nickel is worth 5 cents. Well, make sure that you're in both cents. We're either going to make this 0.05 or you're going to bring this decimal here and make this 215 cents. Whichever you do, make sure you're consistent with your units in both of your equations. And lastly, as with everything else, you're going to want to double check your work to see if it makes sense. Okay, if you're saying that the total of something is this, make sure you're using addition. Okay, if you're seeing that the product of something is another thing, make sure you're using multiplication. Okay, if you're looking for a difference, make sure you have subtraction in there someplace. Just double check, read through your equations, go back and look through the word problem, and make sure your equations match what the problem is asking for. Okay, answer the question that was asked. Answer the question that was asked. Let's take a look at an example. Okay, in this first problem, an ice cream parlor sells ice cream cones that cost $1.10 and sundaes that cost $2.35. One day, the receipts for a total of 172 cones and sundaes were $294.20. How many cones were sold? Well, First thing we're going to do is let's go through and underline any important information. So right now I can go through here and I see, well, I've got cones that were $1.10. I've got sundaes that cost $2.35. I sold a total of 172 cones and sundaes, and I had a combined amount of $294.20. Okay, next, let's define some variables. I'm going to say X equals cones. Okay, and again, that's arbitrary. You could say that X equaled sundaes. You could say that C equals cones. You could say that P equals cones. Whatever you want. Just make sure you're consistent about it. I want to say that Y equals sundaes. Okay, so I've read through the problem. I've underlined my important information. I've defined my variables. Let's go ahead and write some equations. Well, I know that I sold a total of 172 cones and sundaes. So I'm going to add, if I'm looking for a total, my cones and my sundaes. So I know that, say, X plus Y equals 172. Okay, that makes sense. 172 total. Okay. Well, for my other equation, I know I sold a total of $294.20 worth of these items. Well, how much did I make off of my cones? Well, my cones are going to be $1.10 times my number of cones, X. So my cones would be $1.10 times X, the number of cones that I sold. And I also sold Y sundaes at $2.35. It's not a bad price for a sundae if you can get it. Just saying. So, $1.10. This is my money from cones. And this is my money from sundaes. And that's going to equal $294.20. Huh. Total money. Well, let's double check, make sure that makes sense. I've got the number of cones plus the number of sundaes equals my total sold. Okay. The amount of money I made from my cones plus the amount of money I made from my sundaes equaling the total amount of money I made at the ice cream parlor. I like these two equations. I've got two unknowns, I've got two independent equations, and they both make sense. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, example 2. A McDonald's apple pie has 90 more calories than their chocolate chip cookie. 2 apple pies and 3 cookies have a total of 980 calories. How many calories are in each item? Okay, let's go through and look for important information. Okay, I've got an apple pie having 90 more calories than their chocolate chip cookie. And 2 apple pies and 3 cookies have a total of 980 calories. Okay, how many calories are in each item? Well, here we have a special case. Let's go ahead and define our variables first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to say that X, let's get rid of that, X equals apple pie calories. And again, you could use any variable you want. You want to use A, you want to use P, whatever. I'm going to say that Y equals my chocolate chip calories. Okay, so I've defined my two variables. Now, let's start writing some equations. Well, a McDonald's apple pie has 90 more calories than their chocolate chip cookies. So, an apple pie equals, let's see, a chocolate chip cookie plus 90. Okay, that's legit. It's an equation. I've got two things that balance out that mean the same thing. Now, it's a little different than the last problem. I've got my variables on opposite sides of the equation, but that's okay. So x equals y plus 90. I also know that 2 apple pies, so 2x plus 3 cookies equals 980. Okay, so let's stop and make sure this makes sense. I'm saying that an apple pie, okay, is a cookie plus 90 calories. Okay, apple pie has 90 more calories than a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, 2 apple pies, 2x, and plus 3 cookies, 3y, total of 980 calories. Okay, I've got 2 variables, I've got 2 equations. This looks pretty good, and it makes sense. Now how about you give it a shot? Okay, it's your turn. Pause the video here and try this problem before listening to the answer. Please pause the video now. Okay, if you want to take a look, these are how I have set up my variables. I'm letting x equal the McNugget calories and y equal the fry calories. If you still haven't written your equation, pause the video again and then write your equations and then check your work against mine. So pause again now. Okay, hopefully you've checked your work by now. Here are the 2 equations I came up with. I said that 6x, okay, 6 McNuggets plus 2y, 2 fries, equaled 736 calories. I got that one from right here. Mo had 6 chicken nuggets and 2 small fries for 736 calories. Okay, I also have 10x plus 2y equals 920. Well, 10 nuggets and 2 small fries for 920. Hope this is helpful. Please write down any questions you still have on this topic, and we'll cover them in class. Thank you.